Hi, this is Becky with Icing on Top Becky's Cakes, and we're going to make this super cool Rapunzel cake today. First thing, we're going to start with a good sturdy base. So this is a log slice that I've already drilled a hole in to get it ready for my PVC pipe. This PVC pipe is a 1/2 inch thick. So the hole that we need to drill, we need to use our 7/8 of an inch drill for this. So there it is, 7/8 inch, and we're gonna also do the exact same hole on our cake drum that we did on our cake board. And then once the PVC pipe is threaded through both of these, it'll be nice and sturdy, and that'll be our stabilizer for the whole entire cake. Then we're going to want to wash these off because this is what the cake's going to go on. So after you get off most of it and we measure it to make sure that it sits right and our PVC pipe will fit right snug in there, then we go wash them, and here they are, nice and washed. Nice that you can scoop ahead like this. And then here's going to be our log slice, which is going to still be our base, so it's nice and sturdy. I have a slip resistant little mat that I put right on my turntable, and I'll set the log slice on that and my cake drum right on top of my log slice, and then line them both up and put my 1/2 inch PVC pipe right in there. Now I'm gonna cut my PVC pipe right at about the 18-inch mark because that's how tall our cake's gonna be. And that's why we need a PVC pipe to help stabilize the whole thing. This is a PVC pipe cutter that I used. So also I drew a rough sketch because that's always helpful whenever you start a project. So we were doing 6 little 4-inch cakes for the bottom half of the tower, and then a 6-inch cake and a 5-inch cake above that, and an ice cream cone for the very pointed top. Now each cake is about 2 inches thick. So I have a cardboard slice, and I'm gonna do the top part of this cake first, the 6-inch and the 5-inch, so that I can frost it and put it in the fridge and let it get a little firm before I put it on top of everything. Now I'm gonna measure my little 6-inch cake's circle, the cardboard part, and I'm gonna mark with a toothpick right where the very center is. And right where the very center is where I am gonna cut a hole in so that it fits easily onto my PVC pipe. So that's the very center, and I'm using my apple core for this. Isn't that cool? I love using an apple core. Anytime I have to fill cupcakes, what do I use? The apple core. So this is also what I'm going to use to get out just the very center of these cakes and easily put them on my PVC pipe. Because then it just like pops open when you press this, and look at that. That actually looks like a little cake popsicle there. There you go. Yeah. Okay, so I put a little bit of buttercream down to keep this little 6-inch circle from moving around. And then I'm gonna put some more buttercream down to hold the cake in place so it doesn't start sliding around on me. And I wanna line up those holes with the hole in my cardboard cake circle. And then I'm gonna put more buttercream down before I put on my 5-inch cake. And the 5-inch cake also has the very center cut out with the apple core so that I can thread both easily right through my PVC pipe when it's their turn to go on top of the cake. Just the very top of where Rapunzel's tower is going to be, where I'm also going to have an ice cream cone on top of this for the very pointy part, but I want to round it off a little bit here by just carving off only the very edge all the way around, so it has more of a rounded look here. And I should also mention that all my cakes are well chilled in the fridge first before carving so that they're a little more firm and easier to do this. And also for Rapunzel's window, I'm going to make sure when I'm carving, I'm going to leave just a little pointed peak on the front here, and all the rest of it is going to get carved smooth except for the little pointed peak that I'm going to concentrate on right here. And then I'm going to cover it all in buttercream. I already have it in a piping bag just because it's so much easier to get on, and then I can just scrape it smooth as soon as it's all on. I'm gonna use the bench scraper on the bottom part of it to make sure that I have straight edges. And the bench scraper, I just make sure it's at a 90-degree angle, and that keeps it so that the edges are all straight for me. Now I'm going to use my flexible plastic scraper because I'm doing a more curved edge right here at the top. And so the flexible ones work really great with anything that's curved. Now if you've seen my other videos, you know what I'm doing here. I'm putting my hot bench scraper, well it's hot now because I put it in the boiling water. So you put your bench scraper, the metal part, in the boiling water, wipe off most of the water, and then smooth the edge. All right, and so here we have our little 4-inch circles, and I'm doing the exact same thing that I did with my 6-inch in order to get my toothpick center so I know exactly where to cut the hole in these. Now you see 3 here and a cardboard circle, and then I'm going to have 3 more and another cardboard circle and supports in between. Otherwise you're going to squish the cake flat. So we don't want to do that because the poor little cake on the very bottom would be a pancake with all this weight on. So we have to make sure that none of the weight at all rests on these cakes. And the way we do this is we add supports in between each 3 layers. So I'm going to do 3 layers, put the supports in, and then put a cardboard cake circle so that all the weight rests on the support and not the cakes. And I use these bubble tea smoothie straws for my support. I'm going to use 4 on each of the layers. So I'll mark it off, and as you can see I have a toothpick there, and on my toothpick is a little bit of black food coloring because I figured that would be the safest thing to mark with since it's food coloring. And now that I have them all exactly the same height, which is really easy because they're smoothie straws, I just cover it over with buttercream. And on those smoothie straws will rest the cardboard cake circle that I'm going to put on next. So all of this weight, I can press down real hard on that and it'll completely support that cardboard circle. Now, some people use like wooden skewers or wooden dowels instead, but I like the smoothie straws because they're easier to get all the same level and they are wider. So because of weight distribution, especially on a small cake, and with it all being in that little cardboard circle, the weight distribution with the smoothie straws work much better than a narrow dowel rod, especially for this kind of a cake. So definitely the smoothie straws with this one. And I'm going to go ahead and put my support in that one too. So now you see the bottom 3 layers have 4 of the smoothie straws to support, and this next layer of 3 cakes will also have 4 smoothie straws. So these smoothie straws will rest on the cake board that we place under there. So on top of these ones, we will also put a cake board, and then our 6-inch and 5-inch cake will rest on that cake board, which is resting on the smoothie straws. So that is how you can make such a tall cake and yet not have it squish the bottom cake. And now we're going to want to crumb coat this whole area. We'll put that last cardboard circle on, and we'll add a nice crumb coating to the whole area before we add on our buttercream stones, and I'll show you how to do that in the next bit. Okay, for our stones, I wanted it to have a multicolored gray look, so I did just a couple drops of black and a drop of royal blue, and that made this a lovely light gray color. Now I made a darker gray color by having more black and no royal blue in this one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just drop just a portion in here and there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to slowly just turn it over. I don't want it to be fully mixed in because I want to have different kind of marbling look of the stone rather than it being a straight gray color. So I'm using my Wilton 2A tip. That's a very, very large writing tip. And I'm just gonna fill this up with that two-tone buttercream, and then I'm gonna be able to pipe on my stones with this. Now I use the same thing whenever I'm making mermaid scales or dragon scales. What I do is I pipe, release the pressure, and then pull. So I pipe, let it build, release the pressure, and pull. And that is how I make these individual looking stones, and yet it's not too difficult to do. Now you can get the top part of our cake out of the fridge so it's nice and firm. I'm going to use my bench scraper again to dig under that little 6-inch cardboard circle that we have. And that cardboard circle is going to rest right on the smoothie straws that we put in up here. So we're just going to lift that by the cardboard and we're going to thread it right through the PVC pipe. And I'm gonna let it go down very slowly to make sure that it doesn't just plop into place. I'm gonna add some buttercream right to the top before I put on my sugar cone so that it has something to stick to. So on goes the sugar cone and we just press that in place. Then I also cut a little smaller one to go for the small off-center one for later. First I'm gonna get on all of the tiles on this roof before I put the small one on. I'm using my skewer to mark off where I'm going to put the window, and I also want to use the skewer to mark off where I'm going to put the wooden fixtures on this roof as well. And using black buttercream and about a size 5 tip, writing tip, I'm just going to go ahead and pipe on my window. And then just smooth it out with my little scraper there. And then here is a basket weave tip, and I'm gonna put my brown buttercream and I'm gonna frame my window and I'm gonna add some wooden fixtures. And the tip I'm using is a number 48 Wilton, the Wilton. And then I'm going to use my wooden skewer to add some detail to that wood so that it looks more like wood and not just straight piped. Little swirl here and there, and that kind of gives it the tree look. I'm using the same kind of tip for the tiles here, only I'm using the flat side. This one has a serrated side and a flat side, so I have it so that the serrated is down so that you can see just the flat side. And after I crumb coated the ceiling a bit and the cone with some purple buttercream, I'm just gonna pull down what'll look like tiles. So we're just gonna head a little higher than we want the tiles to come, and then we're just gonna pipe down and just pull the tile out. And now I'm just adding some sprinkles to it. Birthday girl wanted some purple sprinkles on, so I'm putting that on. And then I'm also gonna add some silver to it because I want some silver glitter on there. And the best silver glitter I know is from the Sugar Art store. It's 100% edible, and it comes in a little pump bottle, and you can just pump it right on. So we're gonna use the silver for this, and later we're gonna use the gold for Rapunzel's hair. So you'll see it's called Diamond Dust, and it's from the Sugar Art store. And now I'm just using a writing tip to get on some ivy going on up the side of her tower. And we're gonna pipe all that on, and then after I get all my ivy where I want it, I wanna also put on some leaves. So then I'll just switch out my tip to a 352 leaf tip, and I will add some leaves as well. And that was me going, oh, look what I forgot. I forgot to add the little, the little offset tower peak. What do you call this? I don't know, but I forgot to add it. So I was like, whoop, let's get that on there. So put those tiles on that one, and that'll complete the top of our tower. I'm just filling in all those leaves to give it a really leafy look. Okay, so here's the fun part. We needed Rapunzel's hair, but how to get it to stand off the tower? Well, we're going to use an extra long wooden skewer, and since we have a nice cake drum, we're going to stab it right into the cake drum at a slight angle, tipping towards the cake once it's stabbed in. And what we're going to do is we're going to thread this whole skewer with our buttercream. Now I'm using a small French tip on the end of my piping bag, and I fill it with gold buttercream, and I'm just gonna thread it all the way up through this and then make it look like it's going on into the window. So I do need it to be a little bit away from the side so that I can thread it. So how you thread it, you just stick your whole piping bag right through it like this, and I'm going to open it up so that the skewer can come right out through the top. Now usually you never want your piping bag to open, but in this case, yes, you do. So we're going to lightly pipe, and this will get a little messy as I try not to touch the top, and you're just going to apply a little bit of pressure as you go up and pull up slowly while you're letting it thread through the skewer. Then I just pressed it into the side since it was already a little tilted, and then finished adding that touch of hair and a little hair accent here and there to make it look more like hair as it comes down. And of course it has that serrated edge of the French tip, so that helps with making it look like hair. And then I'm going to use my gold dust. I'm just going to pipe it all down the length of the hair so it gives it a gold sparkle, which when you see it in person looks really cool. And then I'm going to use my grass tip, and so I just switched out my leaf tip for my grass tip, and I'm just going to pipe around little patches of grass here and there. I put a little Flynn Rider figure there, and finishing out here. And our tower is just about complete, but I want to add some little candy rocks to make this look a little more, I don't know, even cooler. Let's make it cooler. So these are chocolate rocks. They're like M&Ms, only they look like rocks. So I love these things. I've used them on other cakes too. And I'm pretty sure I bought them on Amazon. So just look up chocolate rocks on Amazon. But yeah, and then I'm just gonna place these around here. And that's just really gonna be the finishing touch for us. If you want my buttercream recipe that I used, just check out on my channel. It's the Mock American buttercream, and it holds up really good, a lot better than traditional buttercream, and so I love it, and it tastes great. And so there's our Rapunzel Tower. I am so excited about this one. I can't wait to see the birthday girl's face expression. She's 3, so it's gonna be almost as big as her because this was 22 inches tall. So please subscribe to my channel.